Welcome back. This time round we're going to take another look at the VGA card. I've had my VIA edition 8242 chips arrive in the post, so we'll test the theory that the 8242, the Intel variant I've got, we'll test the theory that that's not the right part and presumably programmed differently. So yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, we'll get this 8242 out of here. That's fairly tight quarters, so we'll just pop the crystals out, or that crystal out anyway, to make room. Hopefully we can pry this one gently, because I can't get to it from this end, so I've got to sort of reach under it. There we go, that's popped out. So we can put our crystal back in now. And we'll pop out one of our 8242s, one of our new VIA variants. And as you can see, I've clearly bought more than one. I figure, given that the bulk of the cost's in the postage, it's cheaper to buy a few of these things in case one doesn't work, or in case I need one for another project, which I probably will at some point. Right, and pin one at, just got to get the pins lined up so we don't bend anything. There we go. And in we go. Make sure none of the pins are bent. Nope, we're looking good. And my machine on the bench here is sitting here upside down. I'll just turn that up the right way. And we can slip the VGA card into its slot. And it's in. And now I'll just get set up with a monitor and a keyboard, and we'll power it up and see how we go. Okay, so I've got everything set up. We'll power it up and we'll see what comes up on the serial console first. Oh, that looks good. Right, so we can see here, it has detected the keyboard. These are the bytes that it was sending out to initialize the keyboard and the response it was expecting back and so on. I've got keyboard debugging turned on in the BIOS, so we're going to see a little bit of this, hopefully. So now we'll jump over, and there we are. So that's our command line, and my PS2 keyboard works nicely. And as I say, the keys that we're seeing, or the hex values we're seeing coming up here, that's the debugging from the BIOS. So in a moment I'll build a BIOS that doesn't have that debugging turned on, and we won't get all this debugging information. But yeah, so far so good. So yeah, I'll build that kernel and install it, and I'll come back and show you it working. Yeah, okay, just quickly, the debugging I was talking about is here. It's the keyboard trace parameter. I've got it set to 2, and that's showing everything that's being sent to and from the keyboard controller. So we'll set that to 1, which will only show us the errors. And yeah, we can rebuild the kernel. Oh, kernel, I keep calling it a kernel, the BIOS. And we'll send that. I was just going to do this offline, but since I've already started videoing it, I may as well keep doing it. So I'll send it. Now I've got to reboot the machine, and it's going to be interesting to see actually which keyboard, whether I need to talk to it on the serial to do this, or I do it on the actual. No, it's going to be on the actual VGA console. So we're going to go H just to stop it booting. We're going to go. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Actually, I think I can do this. Serial device. So it's serial device 0 here. So in theory, it will come up it'll work off the serial port. This will be interesting. So begin update. And I'm thinking this is, where's my X modem? I'm not seeing anything on the serial console, which I thought I would. But there we go. It is actually transferring on the serial console. Well, on the serial port, because the console is now the VGA. I was just surprised I wasn't seeing the characters at the start of the X modem transfer showing up on the serial port. And as it's going, we can see it writing to the flash memory here as it's receiving the data via X modem on the serial port. See it getting written away. And we're done. So now if I go reboot, and go 6 to get into the slice that I normally use. And it works like I bought one. So I think we can, so far, consider that to be a success. Interesting to see if I go F0. I've got Turbo Pascal on here. Don't know that it's going to. Yeah, I've got it set for SCO ANSI because I've got that working well with Secure CRT. But interesting to see how well it works. Yeah, so home and end don't work with the VT100 console, but yeah, but that's okay. One thing at a time. Is it control? Not control. Okay, Q. Yeah. We'll get out of there. No, I don't want to save that. So I think it's fair to say that the VGA and PS2 keyboard card for the Z80 system is, so far at least, working just fine. Well, pretty quick video that one, but at least it worked. So it proved the theory that the Intel, which I think that chip, let me have a look, I think that chip had Phoenix written on it, so it must have had programming on the 8242 that was specific to a Phoenix BIOS instead of the VIA style programming. I can only assume the protocol it speaks is different. But anyway, sort of proved that theory, got it working. So yeah, I guess onwards and upwards, and we'll see what we can do with it. But yeah, until next time, if you like that, tap the like button, costs nothing, and it really helps out. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.